All right, I am struggling to get my shot right, and part of that is I really need to just buy the boom that stands above you to drop it over my head. It probably would be so much better. That is gonna seriously be on the agenda list like ASAP if I'm keep doing videos. Okay, so what I wanted to do was talk about a lot of people complain about the OP-1 because the keys don't have velocity sensitivity. And they're right, it doesn't, at least at this moment. However, there is some workarounds, some cool things you can do. And a lot of people have an iPad or an iPhone. And a lot of people have access or can have access, which is on the iPhone and iPad is the reason why I'm using it, for tonality. Now, it is primarily a function is to provide you with chords and create progressions and things of that nature. However, it is a controller, a MIDI controller. So you'll see I'm using it in AUM, and I know it's bad lighting, so I apologize in advance, but I'm using AUM. All I'm opening is just a straight MIDI. But before I did that, I connected the OP-1, right? So I went Shift, Com, advertised the OP-1. And then if you have like MIDI emitter, you can see Bluetooth, OP-1, AUM, OP-1. So I wanted my destination to be the OP-1. I made sure in devices is connected, and it is. All right. Then when I click here, I added in a MIDI track, which is here. Then on there, I put in the tonality pads, which is right there. When I click here, I want to go not MIDI inputs, but MIDI outputs. So I wanted the OP-1 to be the output. Basically, I'm using this as a controller to control that. That's what the whole point of it is. So I opened up a 4x4 blank, right? Which you can see. This is a 4x4 blank. And on each pad, if you go to edit, you'll see that a menu pops up down below, or you can touch this side of it and I can make a custom chord. So what I did was I found out, and if you've been using AUM, then you kind of know this, that in, not AUM, I don't know if that's AUM or what this is, but when I'm using AUM, I noticed that if it says the chord, let's see here, in this corner, you can see where the note is triggered at, right? You also can do this and it'll tell you what the sample you're using. All right. So I know this is on F2. That's the kick I want. That's the snare I want. That's the hi-hat I want, right? The rest of these are more kick, snares, and hats, whatever. So I had to find out what is F2. Well, in here, for some reason, using it in AUM, it's F3. So I don't know if you can, I don't know. I know you can't see that. There's no way. You can see the C3 right there. Well, that's F3, right? So I'm creating, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more. I'm creating basically triggers to control this. So I just punch that there. If you want to put color to it, then you go into edit, not that edit. You go into this edit. There's one down here with a paintbrush. Can you see that? No, you cannot. With a paintbrush right down here. If you touch that and touch this, it'll bring up the color palette and you can change it. So I'll put the kick in red. I'm going to do that for this one. This is going to be the snare, which I'll put in blue. And then for the hat, I will put in yellow. Okay. And then you can also label these, by the way. So let's say you want to make a kit for yourself that you can have to use later. You can touch here. And then there's a pad label option right there. And you can say, this is the kick. By the way, I never put my kick up here, but I'll show you in a second. You can move it. So it's not a big deal. I'm just doing this for the purpose of creating snare. Touch here and label this one hat. Hats, whatever, hat. Okay. So let's say, all right, cool, I like that, but I don't like where they're at. It doesn't matter because once you went in and put them on the right note and the notes correspond to, like in this case, this is F2, it's going to be an F3 in here. So it's just an octave up. All right. So you've done that. You label them, but you want to move it. There's this little button over here that allows you to literally move the square where you want it. Like I usually put my kick there, probably put this, and they do move weird sometimes, which drives me nuts, that it won't just stay in place. It's like a fight here. I don't know what that is, but or why it does that. But anyway, now that I've done that battle and conquered that, if you go down here, if you touch this, this opens the velocity settings, and you'll see the test. If I hit it right now, it's just like this. It's just solid hit all the way through. That's under uniform. If you go down here, you can scroll down and see bottom to the top. So now when I hit it, it'll gradually increase the velocity. So my hand can move the velocity up and down wherever I trigger it. See? So that's the key. But now the pads are still small. Well, if you lock, let's say you're only going to use about half of these, maybe even less. Maybe in this case, I'm only using 3. If you lock it, now they become large. And it should record in at the different velocities. So let's just test this out. What is this? Okay, we're going to delete this for sure. All right, let's go back here, delete, and delete. All right, so we have a 4-bar set up. So we're hoping that that does the velocity effect for us. So let's do this. Let's go to elements. Right here. I mean, go down to velocity rather. Right here. There it is. So you see the notes, the MIDI notes are changing there with the velocity. So put it on velocity. And what we're going to do is go back here. Now, it may do this without putting it there. I'm not sure. By the way, this is my first time trying it, so you're learning with me. But let's get a metronome. It's already on good. It's definitely changing. Yeah, so that works great. Now, let's try it again. I'm going to delete that one. And we're going to try it again, but I'm going to take that velocity thing. Why does it keep doing it? Anyway, I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to take that off. And we're just going to put it on, we'll just put it on wherever it was, but we'll leave the velocity where it was. Okay, go back here. And we'll see, we'll notice if it jumps. It's not recording because we are on the wrong track. And that track is for some reason muted. So let's unmute that. Okay, we want to be on track 1. There we go. It's working. So you don't have to do that velocity change. I think it must sense it or something on the MIDI, but it's working. I can hear the variation happening in it. Quite the difference if I go from there to if I play it on here. Watch. I'm gonna just stop it there. That's very much just plain Jane, that's what it is, right? But you can hear the change in it. So let's just add some snares in it now. Let's do the whole thing together. Here we go. I'm off on my timing. But you get the point that you can do that. So that's one option. The cool thing about tonality is you have the control over what you decide you want to do. There's another one though that you can use. Let's say tonality, you don't feel like doing all that MIDI CC setting up. The other option is one I've shown in past videos called KB, not underscore, but goodness, Ben. Keeps wanting to do KB underscore. The other option is KB-1. There we go. KB-1. I don't know what keyboard suite. I don't remember how much it costs, but Black Friday's coming up and you can get it pretty cheap. So let's use KB suite. We'll put another one in here. We may have to restart this one. So let's start it over again. We don't need audio. Tap to confirm. Let's get MIDI. All right, there it is, KB Suite. So in here, you'll see it opens with a keyboard, but we want to find the browser. No, that's not what it is. It's been a while since I used this, man. I gotta, no, that's the editing of MIDI settings. Wow, I can't believe I haven't used this in so long now. I can't remember. Okay, that's not right. Presets. Let me see if I open it. Oops. I'm gonna open it in here one time, continue. Sometimes that helps. Oh, not right now. I don't have time. Okay, not now. Okay, oh, they had this in now, slide over. Wow, okay, that's new. Oh, that's not new. What am I tripping on? Browse. I'm looking for the sessions in here. They usually have this is the keyboard suite. I know this is the right one. Maybe, oh, you go add first, output. So the output is gonna be we'll use the virtual output, it's fine. Presets should be drums. There we go, that's what we want. All right, so let's get off that, close this out. I'm not sure why the presets don't show up in here when I bring it here. Let's just try to replace it and see if we can get it. Okay, there we go. Presets, drums, cool. So the good thing about these are they already have that velocity sensitivity thing going on. The problem is I don't know if they match up to the notes in here when I go here, right? So this is a default. They have one set templates that are already set up. We're gonna stay with the default for right now and try to figure out, we're gonna turn the velocity on, which is right there. And then we're going to try to figure out how do we change. We need to edit these pads. There we go, okay. So it's starting on C2, but we're hearing nothing. So let's go up to, well, let's stop at F2, nothing. Let's go up to, what was it, F3? All right, I'm just gonna do one pad. And I'm still not hearing anything. It should be F2, no wonder I'm not hearing anything. Hold on a second, let's adjust that. Nope. And we're gonna go to settings again. There we go. All right, F. So we tried F2. Nothing there. So I'm showing F3. So we need to set this. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We're not going to hear anything. We don't set the output. No wonder. All right, now we should be. There we go. I apologize in advance for that lengthy moment of just stupidity on my part. All right. I know better than that. All right, so F3 is our starting point. So we could, in this case, we could go. I'm assuming this is the fastest way to do this. You could literally, this should be G3. F should be, this should be G3. So this takes a little time, as you can see. And that's the next one would be G flat. Then you would have to, you would say, but the good thing is you only have to do this one time. G flat. So then we're going to go G flat to, did I do that right? I did that wrong. This should be A. I mean, A flat. This should be A. There we go. This should be, this should be B flat. And this is B. So I'm not going to sit here and do all this because this will take me forever on camera. But you see how quickly that works. And yes, these, if I remember right, can be renamed. I don't have to look up that to know. I know they can be renamed. The way you would do that is you go back to the same settings you were at, and across from that one, I'm just going to show you one. You could say instead of that, you could just put kick 1. Return. I'm only going to do 1 just so you can see it, and then you'll see it's named. So, velocity sensitivity. Point I'm making is, and again, sorry about the long video, it's not a big deal because you can get it in there if you want it. There's ways to dynamically make it work in here too. If you don't want to have this, but if let's say you have the iPad and you're doing your drums, you have options. And I don't think these can be, I don't think these, this is one of the things I don't like is these can't be moved around as far as I know. So I don't like that. I guess you could sit there and name each one differently and try to put it where you want it. That would stress me out more. I like the way tonality allows you to move it. But there's a win with this that tonality doesn't have, and that is the roll. So for those that like to roll their hi-hats, now what you got to remember is if you're going to choose to do that roll, you're going to have to change the BPM in here because I think it rolls based on whatever this BPM is. So if your song's in 88, you better put it at 88. Get my drift? Sorry about the shaky camera. Long video, but yeah, so you have options, and you've seen me do these options in other things too, in other iPad videos, but I'm speaking specifically if you're going to use the OP-1, or let's say you wanted to use your OP-1, I'm not OP-1, the iPad with, because I'll be honest, the roll feature in here is terrible. This is the SP404. So if you have this one and you want to use this as a controller, I think you can use it as a MIDI keyboard. And it does have MIDI, you can see on the back there, MIDI in and out. So you just have to get the appropriate cables for that if you wanted to do that. Personally, I'm not about to do that. I just think it's just a little much. But the good thing with those is they have velocity sensitivity, so you don't really need that. I think it would be a kind of pointless to do it with that. But let's say if you were going to use a keyboard, then like a classic keyboard, and you don't have a physical keyboard or don't feel like you want to buy one just to do some you could in theory put a MIDI, connect MIDI like a CME MIDI dongle to the back and use MIDI straight into there. Obviously you can use it here because it has Bluetooth and MIDI, and you can use this too. I think I've shown this too, where with chords. So if you wanted to, with the SP or even the MPC, that you want to Bluetooth in your scalar chords or tonality chords, whichever one you got. I'm just going to pick something random. And you can do that and send, same principle, send it out to the Bluetooth of that, and pull open this. Maybe turn the humanize on so you at least get the velocity change. Tonality has the velocity, humanize, attack, and all that good stuff. It has those features in it too. So don't feel like you got to go get scalar if you can't afford scalar. Tonality is typically cheaper. The scalar has its benefits and tonality has its benefits. So yeah, but anyway, that is that. And just wanted to show you using the iPad basically as a controller for whatever device you have. If you don't have something you're lacking in it that you need, and you can use tonality on the phone. Scalar doesn't work on the phone, but KB-1, I believe, works on the phone. So those are options that you have to basically have a controller at your hand for whatever other device you're working into if you're not completely on the iPad. All right, I'm out. This video has been long enough. You know what? I don't think, yeah, okay. Yeah, the video has been way long enough, almost 24 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get off. And yeah, until the next one. All right.